What's up YouTube, ODST General back again with another Operation Trebuchet news video. Now, we talked about the new Mombasa project previously, guys, but what I did not know is that when I was recording my B-roll footage, is that I could actually access a master mission file that has a bunch of the compositions actually thrown together in a single mission, so I could really check out what the map is truly shaping up to be. Now, when I showed that off to you guys, I was just going off the Steam build of the game, which is easily accessible by everybody. That Steam build has been updated to add an airport area that was added into this mission file previously. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and show off the mission file. With that being also said, keep in mind, performance is really bad when this stuff is added to Terrain Builder. That will change. I don't know how much it's going to change. I just know that Terrain Builder basically lets the game improve the performance of structures and stuff like that, so they're not quite as impactful in gameplay, but performance is already kind of bad, so I don't know what that's going to look like as a finalized product. But we are still a ways off from that. There's a lot of tweaks and stuff that the development team that's working on the new Mombasa project is going to have to do. I have no doubt. What the final product is going to look like compared to this, I don't know. But I figured it'd be fun to kind of actually fly through the city and kind of take a look at everything again. Just have patience as far as like stuttering and stuff like that, because I would imagine that's going to be fairly apparent. At least it is to me. So we have the Oni building, which was in the previous build, but we've got the bridge that goes across the water here. I don't know how much deeper this water is eventually going to go. Obviously, it looks fairly deep in ODST, but pretty cool area here. And then we go through the doors, and we come out and see the firefight map, the plaza that's in front of the Oni building, inside the city sectors. Really cool area, really faithful to the actual thing. It's a blast. I love it. They did a really good job there. Then we've got an adjacent sector over here, which also is probably going to look familiar to a lot of you guys. And this one here is completed, which is also pretty cool. And you've got like the little grassy areas and stuff like that. Now, the other sectors are all largely, for the most part, still work in progress. There's empty spaces and there's roads and stuff that are laid out. Now, this is using Forerunner roads. They actually have human roads that have been created to actually replace this. So at some point here, these Forerunner roads will be replaced with some road pieces Kenny made. I would imagine where possible, where the roads are actually touching the ground and these are elevated, but I imagine they're going to try and go with actual like roads using pathing from Terrain Builder, because that's going to be actually a lot less impactful than actually having a whole bunch of even just square models laid out. You know, you're not going to have any 3D objects at all. It's just going to be 2D roads painted onto the ground. So that's going to be probably the best way to go. I'm guessing that's the plan, but I'm not actually sure. The other thing is that these are, you know, floating up above the sidewalks, so there's like little divot here, so having the roads actually properly flat on the ground until you actually need to elevate them for some areas like this, for instance, is going to be the best way to go. So just zooming out real quick, so this is what the primary play area for ODST is right here and what it kind of looks like, but it's not the only area. We did show off the entrance to the wildlife preserve previously, so there's actually two of those. There's one there, and then there's one over here. And I don't know where the actual wildlife preserve is. I know it's a pretty good trip to the wildlife preserve from where you're leaving in the city, but I don't actually know where it's at or what coastline it's along. I would guess this is like the wildlife preserve over here, the one that you actually see in the game, because you jump, you know, out of the wildlife preserve into the city center, like over the barrier and everything. So I would guess that's what this is over here, but I don't know for sure. Sure, somebody will correct me on that or change this how this looks. I don't know, but still nonetheless pretty cool. So we've got the downtown, and we've got the new Mombasa Police Department here, which is a pretty detailed play area up here. Not exactly precise to how it looked in the game, but as close as I guess you can really get Narma. And then dropping down here, we've got the plaza in front of it and everything like that, which is pretty neat play area, a lot of details and stuff here. And again, I don't know how much of this detail is actually going to stay over the longer term. Obviously, there's a lot of objects and stuff down here, and the more stuff you have, the bigger impact it is. And while a single bench isn't necessarily going to, affect performance vastly, when you've got 40 benches scattered throughout a mission area, you're probably going to start seeing some impact from it. It's probably not going to be even like 40 benches isn't necessarily going to be a huge impact, but I'm willing to bet there's probably more than 40 benches scattered throughout this map just as is. Even in this area, there's a lot of benches. And that's just benches. That's not including like extra doors and the information terminals and extra stuff like this, where it's like, it's nice details. It makes the map look a lot better, but it is a lot of stuff and it is going to affect performance. So I'm guessing a lot of that stuff's going to get deleted at some point just to help with performance of the game. And just the whole city area is pretty detailed for the most part. As far as roadways and complexity and stuff, I'm guessing more areas like this will get some extra, buildings and stuff in here just to make it even more detailed. With that being said, however, it's actually missing out on one of its most detailed areas that was in a previous build of this that's not in this one for some reason. So there's actually a train terminal that you'd come across here, and it was a really detailed area, really cool looking. Now, I don't know why it was pulled from the master file. It might have been that somebody forgot to load it, or maybe performance was so bad they wanted to delete stuff before adding it in because they maybe knew that it was a little performance heavy or something. So it was a very cool area. Kind of reminded me of Terminal if you snorted a bunch of cocaine and then went into Terminal and it was just like super amped up. It was pretty cool though. And then I didn't really cover it, but Orbital Elevator, nice set piece, but not much to show off there, unfortunately. So then we have the airport and the port. The port is not in. This is still in the mission file. And it sounds like it's got some issues based off what I was reading with floating objects and stuff. So I don't know how much this will actually change. It sounds like it might change a lot. It's a very cool area, though. I definitely like it as a port. I'd imagine this would be a lot of fun to play in. And then the airport. The airport's actually been added into the terrain builder file. So this is actually part of the map officially now over here with the airport. And the entrance area is fairly complex, as far as buildings and pathways and stuff like that. So that's a pretty cool area. A lot more open spaces for the actual airport, a lot of places to store larger planes and stuff. So if you have, like long swords, eventually, again, maybe you'd be able to store them here. But until then, we've got, I was going to say short swords, but that's not what I meant. I can't remember. Sabers. Gosh, that's the one I was thinking. I was trying to go through my head. I could not remember the name Saber to save my life. And then we have a large hangar here that did have a Drake class in it, and that was pulled out of here, it looks like, which I'm actually happy about. The Drake class in here didn't make much sense because you couldn't actually get into it from the ground because it's just a little too elevated. And the top clipped through and the sides clipped through. It just didn't make much sense to have it in there. So for performance reasons, I'm glad it was removed because it didn't really serve much purpose in there. And then we've got some roads laid out over here as well as a plaza, which will eventually be another, I'm guessing, smaller city center, a little less built up, like the downtown over there, I'd guess, but still probably a pretty populated area. And then the large bridge from actual Halo 2 that you drive across with the Scorpion tank. Unless you guys were like me and you used 2 sticks and a rock to make Sergeant Johnson proud. So that's pretty cool. That's been moved off to the side, however. And then we've got a couple of tunnels from Halo 2. And of course, these tunnels are probably going to look familiar. At least one of them will. We're going to just go down the inside of the tunnel here. It'll take us a second. Pretty big area here. A couple entrances and stuff along in here too that take you out onto the beach. But of course, this is going to be the area you guys are most familiar with. Now, the tunnel does continue on into the city, so it's a little bit different than what we actually see in Halo 2, where a lot of this stuff is blocked off. I don't know if any of that's going to change, if they're going to block this stuff off later on down the road, or if the goal is to keep as much of it as open as humanly possible, or just have opening doors and stuff where possible. But it does bring us out onto the beach here, which, of course, this is probably going to be a beachfront most of you guys are very intimately familiar with. And kind of one of the most iconic locations of Halo right here is Hotel Zanzibar, the beachfront, a day at the beach took place here. So we've got the backside of the Hotel Zanzibar. If we go up, so the Hotel Zanzibar actually does have an interior. This is the front of the building. It actually says Hotel Zanzibar. If we go inside, there's doors and stuff in there that take you through to the back and lead out to the back of the building there. So you'll actually be able to go through the building. If somebody wanted to, they would be able to pretty faithfully recreate Halo 2 at this point, I feel like. So, we've got the Pelican crash site where you crash the second human level of Halo 2. You've got the little bar Puma here. The door where the hunters came through. The area where you meet with Sergeant Johnson, and then Sniper Alley. It even says, watch where you step. Nice little nod to Sniper Alley here. So, yeah, absolutely awesome. Super crazy amounts of detail and faithful recreations of these buildings and stuff. I'm really impressed. Now, you do see a little bit right here, and keep in mind, again, these are all work in process, and there's parts like this highway piece and stuff that are scattered around from the various developers. GEK's got compositional pieces all over the map and stuff like that, and I don't know exactly how they're going to blend some of this stuff together. Obviously, this highway's very accurate to where it was in Halo 2, but when we look at the north portion of Old Mombasa, it doesn't really blend with it very well. It's obviously clipping through the building. It could be that they get rid of the building and they have this, highway basically feed into like a road that they're going to put here and feed onto here, and then still have like a side road running alongside of it. That's definitely an option. That would probably be the best thing to do. But then you go over here as well, and this is very much elevated here. That's not going to necessarily work very well as a road, so they might just get rid of the road here altogether. I don't know. I don't know what the plans are for that, guys, and I'm sure it'll be discussed or figured out here, but I'm sure there's also a little bit of playing it by ear. And again, here, we've got a lot of little detail in the shed here, and it looks really great. It makes it feel like a lived-in location, but again, with performance being what it is, I doubt a lot of that stuff's going to stay in there. I'm guessing a lot of it's going to get cleared out, especially if you're playing in the map and you're not going to use that area. You don't really need all the details. That's the sort of thing that, it's great to have it in there. And, if you're a mission maker, it's going to save you some time having to not put this stuff down. If you're not playing in this area, you're going to want performance instead. You'd rather just have it probably empty. That's why a lot of the buildings in Arma are empty and not furnished, just for performance. It's weird going in there and not having furniture or anything, but it does make a lot of sense. Where are those buildings? This building looks genuinely enterable. I doubt it is. Oh, it does have an interior. This is weird. Like, from the outside, it looks... I know I said it looks enterable, but it almost at the same time looks, because of the blinds, like one of those like buildings you'd see in a video game where it's like there's like a small section that's cut in to modeled out to look like there's a proper interior, but it's just like painted onto like a inset section. I do actually really like this city section here, and it works all the better because it's a large city, but it's so different from New Mombasa. It's so much closer to what you'd expect from a modern city, and it makes it really cool. At first, I wasn't a really big fan of the location, but with trees and stuff added and making it just feel like a little bit more of an actual location, it makes it all the more interesting to see all these like terraces and stuff like that you go up on, all the different levels, and the like futuristic building process and stuff. And then you just like curved roads and angled roads and stuff. And then you go over here and it's just straight lines and grids. And then just for the real old city section, just pure chaos of buildings stacked on top of each other and like old structures that are probably protected under law and stuff like that. It just makes it super interesting. A lot of really cool play spaces. Overall, I'm pretty excited for the project. I really want to see this finished. I want to see what happens. I don't know if they're going to be able to get this to work out. Obviously, like I said, performance, I've said it a couple times already, is my big concern. And if you really zoom out, if you're looking at the map from high up, it's obvious there's still a long ways to go. I mean, yeah, we've got the wildlife preserves, which I don't know if that's going to be like here. Um, that's potentially a fairly big area, but there's still like 2/3 of the map maybe left to go. I mean, you've still got a big empty section here, and then like all of this on the main island is empty. It's not been furnished or anything, and there's supposed to be stuff basically all along here. So I don't know if they're going to be able to do this. I don't know if this is going to be a viable project, but I do applaud them for the work they've done so far, even if it proves not to be viable. I mean, bravo. You know, maybe if it doesn't work out, you just take the compositions and you split it up. I guess maybe into multiple maps or something. You know, that might be the way to go. Who knows? All right, anyways, guys, I just wanted to show this off in more detail. I wanted to really show the work that's been done on it so far. It's so cool. I really had to take a closer look at it with you guys. Let me know what your thoughts are on New Mombasa. I know a lot of you guys have probably concerns about the performance issues and stuff like that, or performance in general, not necessarily if it's an issue for you. But the performance is probably going to be a big concern. But aside from performance, what do you guys think of it? Are you guys excited? What do you guys think of the recreations of the various areas? How faithful do you guys think they've been to the games and stuff? Are you happy with where it's at right now and looking forward to seeing it completed? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy.